Today, we got a very exciting guest as well in the building. He goes by the name of Mark. Mark, let's give him a round of applause.
Hey, folks.
For everyone here and everyone listening is, if you're passionate enough about doing something, if you're passionate about spending the time, now we're here for episode 10. We've put in the time, and if we continue to put in the time, it'll resonate into obviously more success.
Yeah, baby.
What the?
Mark is on a roll.
Like, do you have some sort of system where you're like creating content really quickly so that you can kind of like then, okay, put in a batch.
So with Man Signals, I did learn through a big part of learning is seeing what your competitors are doing.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Welcome to another edition of the Flip of Forum podcast. And today, we got a very exciting episode. My name is Michael.
Samir.
I'm Omar.
And today, we got a very exciting guest as well in the building. He goes by the name of Mark. Mark, let's give him a round of applause.
Hey, folks.
All right, Mark, I just wanted to let you know, before we actually started doing this podcast, me and Samir had a sit down and we're like, we definitely have to have guests. And you were the first person on that list that we wanted to have on. And we are so happy for you to come here and actually do this. So I just want to say thank you for being here and putting in the time and making time for the day to actually come and do this podcast.
I am honored. Thank you for having
Amazing.
me.
And just to give everybody a heads up, today is marking our 10th episode. So this is a new milestone in our journey. So we are very, very excited and we can't wait to see where this goes. Mark, can you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and what is it exactly what you do?
Well, Michael, let me tell you. So the short answer is I am by day a dance teacher and by night a dance teacher, but I also create content for the internet. So I have DanceWithMark right now, which is my social media. And on there, I basically teach the world how to dance.
Amazing.
Salsa, merengue, bachata, whatever you want. It's on there.
Cool. And what kind of platforms do you specialize in right now?
So first of all, I don't specialize in anything. Surprise, surprise. Just because honestly, social media is so unpredictable that everything is pretty much a guess as I'm going along. So I would definitely not call myself an expert, just someone who got lucky through consistency. But I'm pretty much on all of them. So YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok right now.
Nice. And you do specifically focus largely on short form content as opposed to long-term content. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Amazing. And in your opinion, because you do focus in short form content, what is the key to creating engaging short form content? What have you learned in your past years of doing short form content?
Damn,
Whether
you're
it's on
starting
Reels
strong.
or on TikToks, what do you got, man?
Okay, well, let me show you my course over here for $5,000.
I want to hear this.
So that's a big question, Michael. That's like how much time you got?
Oh, we got all day, my friend.
That's what
We
I
got all
figured.
day. We're
That's
going
what I
Joe Rogan level on this one.
Can we light up the spliff? Like, what's happening?
Where is Elon Musk?
Yeah. The simplest answer is that it's very difficult to predict what will work. There are some, sort of guidelines and best practices that you do use in any kind of content that you create. And beyond that, a big part of it is luck, but it is also just consistency. And,
Exactly. Yeah.
and learning. And honestly, I think consistency is probably the number one thing. It's one of the most unpredictable things about growing as a content creator, but it's also one of the most predictable in a way, because if you're doing it for long enough and if you just try and keep better, like there's pretty much no stopping you. In terms of specifically content creation, I think that structuring your content in a way that hooks the viewers, in a way that is visually appealing, and in a way that delivers value, is probably those are the top main three things you want to do with your content. Each one, obviously, we can double click into each one, but that's the big picture. So number one, consistency. Number two, creating content that's actually valuable and interesting and has elements of copywriting or sales or marketing in it. And beyond that, probably just branding.
Interesting. So you wouldn't say there's like the secret sauce that you have to implement in terms of going viral or having your viewers view your content on a very high level? Is there
Are you going to kick me out if I say no to this? Like, is that...
Hey, I think you just gave us the answer, but maybe you know a little bit more. You might know a little bit something that we don't.
Yeah, so secret sauce, once I come out with a course, yes, there will be a secret sauce, of course.
You got to check that out, folks.
You got to market it somehow.
Exactly.
But the truth is, no, there's no secret sauce. And even half the times, like, it's a very interesting process because oftentimes, even the content that you spend the most time on, the content that you sure will do well, the content where you did everything the exact same way you've done hundreds of times before, can either perform amazingly well or completely bomb. And there's just no predictability. There's no guarantee.
Yeah, so I actually wanted to speak to you about, you had a page previously that you did run. It was a fashion related page, correct? And we did have a brief conversation on why you decided to move on from that page. But I wanted you to explain our viewers one of the issues that you have with that page. When you are building a target audience, how do you ensure that you're building an audience that is geographically correct? If you understand what I'm saying.
I understand completely. So once again, unfortunately, I don't have a great answer for you. As the first guest so far, I feel like I'm not doing as well as I could be. However, this is something that was a problem. So my previous page was, right now it's under the brand Man Signals, and it was basically a fashion page where I would basically kind of put together different outfits and create fashion inspiration and fashion education for men. And my problem when I wanted to go and monetize that page, and I wanted to approach brands to get brand deals and all of that stuff, the problem was that when I looked at my audience demographics, many of them were from countries like Pakistan or Asia, or basically not where I wanted my ideal demographic to be, such as North America, Canada, even Australia, when I was approaching these brands. So there happened quite a few times when I would speak to a brand that is located in Toronto, for example, and even though they did online shipping and all of that stuff, they were not as interested in working with me because obviously once you show them the demographic, it doesn't match, which is totally understandable. So truthfully, right now with Dance with Mark, my demographic right now is more, at least a larger base in North America, but I can't say it was through anything that I did specifically. I still have many people reaching out to me from Philippines, from China, for example, India, and there's just, unfortunately, that's one of the downsides I feel like about social media content. You cannot control who's going to watch it, and that's okay. However, one of the things I am thinking about doing now, again, it kind of depends on who you want to target, but one of the things I'm thinking is if I want to get more local followers, for example, because if I want to run in-person classes and use my social media to market them, I think I'm going to start actually taking my best performing content and using that as my ad and just boost it to local audiences.
Nice.
And that way I get visibility in front of the people who I want to be in front of, but at the same time, I use content I already know converts.
Interesting.
That's true.
Samir?
Yeah, I just wanted a little bit more about the technical aspect of it. You know, like, do you post at a certain time? Do you find that you get more people viewing your content at a certain time of the day, certain time of the week? What's your experience on that?
So right now I post every day. So far, both pages that I've grown, so right now, Man Signals got to about 43,000 before I shut it down. And Dance with Mark right now is almost 200,000 actually on Facebook, which was a platform I was shocked to see performing so well. Because I was sure it was going to be TikTok and Instagram. And it's about 40K or close to 50 today already on Instagram, and about 20, maybe 25 on TikTok. And YouTube is lagging behind significantly.
Yeah.
Which is another topic we can talk about as well.
Is there any software that you're using to distribute your content?
So right now I post one video across all of those 4 platforms, all to short form content. I do it all manually. I do have a system that I use in terms of batching content, both on creation and editing. And then I have essentially every morning, before we go to the gym in the morning, maybe around like 6:30, 6 a.m. I post for the day, and then I log out and don't look at it up until the next day. And even that, I feel like is too much work right now.
Okay,
Funny
so
enough.
So, I mean, do you have any sort of scheduling software you're using, or just using the?
So I used to
Because I know TikTok has their own scheduling.
I'm pretty sure now
component.
all 4 have scheduling available within different software. So before I did use different scheduling software. Honestly, right now my workflow works for me, but only because I was worried, number one, that when I was using other scheduling software, number one, I was worried that the quality of the videos would go down. And quality is a big, important component of how well a video does, at least in my opinion. And before, actually, there were some of the platforms were not available. So you would not, like TikTok, for example, you'd be able to schedule it, but then you'd have to go and manually post it yourself.
Upload it, yeah.
And so I think now they changed it. I think now they actually have
You can,
scheduling for YouTube.
I know with Buffer you can now.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that anymore. You can have all your channels lined up.
Yeah.
And you can just schedule it out.
So I think honestly, maybe I will do that because right now I have content batched for about a month out. And before I went, we just came back from our vacation and I had content for probably about 60 days out. And so I'm going to look into it actually. So right now I batch creation, I batch editing. Why not just batch posting as well?
Yeah, because I was going to ask you, so how long does it actually take you to, I guess, come up with the idea and then just formulate everything, put everything together, and just do you have some sort of system where you're like creating content really quickly so that you can kind of like then put it in a batch. So is there some sort of system that you use which is quick and effective?
Yeah, I think it depends on the niche you are serving and the type of content you are making. So when I was doing my clothing business or fashion content, one of the reasons why I stopped doing it was painfully long process to do it, because the videos that I was creating were essentially me getting dressed in front of the camera. Each item goes on, then editing all together was very labor intensive. So eventually I even hired an editor to edit everything so that I wouldn't have to do that. But despite that, putting together the outfits surprisingly takes a long time. Then actually shooting the videos takes a long time. And that was one of the sort of friction points that I found that I did not want to continue with. So I find that it's a little bit different if you are a business versus if you are a content creator. If you are a content creator, whatever you're doing has to feel at least somewhat enjoyable, joyful, meaningful, whatever. If you are a business, you're obviously using this content for marketing. And so it is a little bit of a different approach because you got to do what you got to do. You're in business, you have to market your product. So the reason why I'm saying this is that when I switched over to dance content, I've been teaching dance for close to 2 decades now, 20 years.
20 years, yeah.
So I am such an expert in that field that I do not need to research content ideas, essentially, outside of trends, nor do I really have to think about how do I put things together. So it's a very fast process for me right now. I essentially, when I know I want to shoot, I open my notes. I just line up all the different videos. So right now, basically, I would go through, okay, what do I want to shoot in salsa? What kind of content do I want to shoot in bachata, merengue, etc.? And then I go to the studio, set up my camera once, and then basically in about an hour, I can shoot 30 videos because I just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, record, dance, whatever, cut, next. Very quick. And the best part for me now is I barely have to do any cutting and editing. The only thing I do have to do now is a lot of graphics and cleaning up the content or the visuals. So I still have some editing that I eventually want to outsource or maybe look at AI to use for.
So this is actually a good question for you right now. What are some of the must-have tools that you have in your toolbox that you typically use on a day-to-day basis when it comes to editing your videos?
Very flip a forum question. So right now I'm using a camera, like a dedicated camera. It's the Canon M50, super old. I got it. It was cheap. It was very affordable.
Camera,
so it was very good when I got it. But immediately after, if I had like even $400 more, I regret not getting the A5400 because the fact that you can do 4K, 6400, yes. So the fact that you could do 4K is a game changer. And right now my content quality is not as good as I would like, only because I'm shooting in 1080p.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. However, if my phone was better also, I'd shoot on my phone. Because honestly, like, right now, iPhone 14 with the cinematic mode of video, like, come on, you don't need anything else.
Absolutely.
Outside of that, when I used to record audio, I have a little wireless lav mic. tripod, obviously, and then beyond that, I use free editing software, DaVinci Resolve. Shout out, what?
Interesting.
Amazing software, by the way, for free, especially incredible.
Amazing. And this is in-app software that you can have on your phone.
Nope. So I used to use in-app software, but honestly, my fingers are not small enough to edit on the phone. And plus, the things that I want to do, I want to be able to make them repeatable. So I now have like pretty much templates within the software. So it's a desktop software. It's pretty much like Premiere or anything else like that.
I think you got the three big dogs. You got the Final Cut, you got Adobe Premiere, and then you got DaVinci, of course. And you just brought up an interesting thought here. You mentioned AI. Are there any interesting applications that use AI that you're looking forward to using in the future?
So we were talking about, one of my friends is very big into AI, content creation, SEO, marketing, everything like that. And one of his recent discoveries was not video related. However, it was for his business. It was an AI writing software. So we all know ChatGPT has amazing capabilities. It can write. It can replace copywriters. Whatever. There is a new software that is based on that, but apparently I've seen it and it does amazing things. And it is called SurgeGraph.ai.
I saw that today.
And that looks incredible
What is that
for
about?
written content. So basically, if you want to create, for a keyword, any kind of blog content or anything written, that is what you would use.
Okay.
Yeah, so
this would utilize ChatGPT type of technology?
I think so, yeah. So if I wanted to expand, like obviously right now, my website is, I don't have a website right now, but like most of everything that I do is video. But if I wanted to work on the SEO elements as well, that's the next thing I would bring in.
So you're saying that your friend has used this? I mean, it just came out, right? So
it's pretty recent. So he has a service. He's essentially an agency that does content creation, content research, everything like that. And that is one of the services he offers to clients: AI written content with human editing and proofreading. Okay. And it's been a game changer for him.
Okay. So you're going to be incorporating that going forward?
I think so. Yeah. I think the more channels of marketing I can get, especially once I now start, if I'm in the process of doing more either in class or online courses or anything like that, the more channels of marketing I can be on, the better. And with this one, it seems pretty easy, at least for now, as a potential.
And how long have you had this channel?
So I just looked at it. Actually, my first video on Dance with Mark was in January this year. So it was pretty quick.
6 months.
Pretty quick, yeah.
Why did it take you so long to come up with this channel, man? It just makes so much sense for you.
Yeah, I remember we spoke about it too.
Literally everyone who I know. So, I've been teaching for so long, and I always thought that the money that I would make would come from outside of teaching, because teaching dance, everywhere where I looked around, there was not really anyone who was succeeding on the scale that I wanted to succeed. And so for many years, I was trying to go out of the field to do different things. I've experimented with content creation, obviously, website design, affiliate marketing, pretty much everything, you name it, drop shipping. But that was just kind of like my thought process. But recently, after stopping Man Signals, I just thought, you know what? I went through a period of not knowing what I wanted to do next, which is a really weird time, because I was always very goal oriented. All of a sudden, I had nothing clear on the horizon. And so one day I'm just like, I have nothing else to do. I'm not working on any other projects. Why not at least maybe try and use content to build up my dance clientele? And I started doing that. And honestly, after the fashion business, it was just so easy to do. And it just was almost effortless that I just kept doing it. And even now I do it to the point where I rarely check my numbers. I rarely check my accounts. I don't really touch it. I post and get out of there. Partly for mental health as well, so you're not constantly obsessing over it. But it just became it's such an easy, natural extension of what I already do on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
That
So from my understanding is you enjoy what you do, and this is another platform of putting yourself out there for more people to enjoy and participate in what you do. Two, I guess I'm going to call both of them success stories. You had a hitch in between, and then you restarted. First of all, why did you start off with the first one? Obviously, like, it didn't meet your expectations. What was it like, that period? And then today, where you see yourself, you say you don't look at the numbers. You try to keep yourself away from looking at those absolute numbers. Is it just truly the passion that you've accumulated over the last 20 years that keeps you away from looking at those numbers? Or is it just the belief that, yes, I can grow this based on what I'm putting out there?
Great question.
Good questions. Oh my, I like it. No, what do you mean? Sorry. That's what I'm here for, man. I love it.
All right.
Yeah, give me the goods. I'm here for 3 hours.
3 hours?
Yeah, what do you mean? What happened to
Samir
Joe
needs to go
Rogan?
back.
Joe Rogan.
Hey, Jamie, what's the time check?
Yeah.
21 minutes.
Yeah. So why did I start the first one? So as I said before, I always believed that my sort of path to, my interest was always in marketing and sales and digital marketing, digital content creation. So I always knew I wanted to do something like that. My girlfriend I don't actually use any of these platforms myself. I don't use TikTok. I don't use Instagram. I don't use YouTube. Obviously I use just for educational content usually. And Facebook, I don't think I've touched in years. So I was so sort of not even in that world, but my girlfriend is extremely into like content creators and bloggers and Instagram and all of that. And so when she would share all of these things with me and all of these videos, I'm like, oh my God, especially when COVID hit, that's when I started Man Signals. I'm like, that looks like a lot of fun. Like it actually looks like fun. You get to go out, you get to dress nice, you get to, all things I enjoy anyway. You get to play with cameras. I like photography, I like videography, I like editing. And I'm like, this is going to be a blast. And it was interesting, definitely great for skill set building. But as I said, number one, I felt it was just not my thing in terms of, I think whatever you do as a content creator, again, not as a business, but probably as a business too, you have to be able to commit so much time to it, so much energy, effort, obviously, and mental awareness. And my interests, honestly, were just not that much into fashion to be willing to commit the time needed to really grow it to the next level. There was only just so many videos I wanted to create about best cologne or whatever. It was just not sustainable for my interests. So that's why that stopped. And plus, it was a draining process of like creating the videos, and that eventually could have been solved through assistance or whatever, but I never got to that point.
So for a lot of viewers, would you say that you came to a point where you were actually just crunching the numbers, looking at the data, the analytics, and figuring out what am I going to talk about versus actually enjoying the process? Did it come to that?
I did not enjoy the process, so I would dread filming. It was very interesting. I did not enjoy it at all. It was just such a hassle, and it was like a 2-hour process for 7 videos, where here I can do, in an hour 30.
Yeah.
So it was not my gift to do that. For other people, obviously, there are amazing content creators who focus on fashion. I wouldn't say that I was looking at the numbers, but I do have to say that one of the big reasons why I stopped, I think if I got some positive reinforcement in terms of, I did get a few brand deals, interesting enough. And I did get paid for some content as well. And I got an amazing sponsorship with RW & Co. Like, it did go well. However, once I kind of saw the numbers and the demographics and the problems around getting sponsorships and ads, it was kind of like the final nail in the coffin.
Got it. Yep.
And that was just like, you know what, I'm done, not enjoying it. Thank you very much.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's now dial to the moment where you have decided, okay, I'm gonna turn this off. And then you said in COVID, you started off with the second page. Reigniting that drive. Share a little bit about that, and what makes you want to grow your channel from now 200,000 subs to maybe 1 million?
Got it. Great questions, Omar. Great question. Really making me think. I love it. Very
Guy's
good.
a star.
He really is.
Yeah.
I saw your videos. This guy's a killer.
He's all over TikTok.
Oh my God, yeah. So when I started the second page, I cannot say that it was a flash of inspiration. It was literally me being dragged into it because I had nothing else to do. So like these guys will tell you, they told me like, why don't you do something with dancing? Every single one of my friends is like, Mark, like this is you.
Exactly.
Just do it. And I'm like, I do not even want to think about it. Not because I didn't enjoy it, but just because, again, I think I had a limiting belief around what is possible with it also, the range, the monetization strategy, all of that.
Okay.
So when I started, it was just because I thought, you know what? I don't have anything better to do. I've got no aim really right now, no main goal, no main project. So I might as well just do something. And that's how it started.
Okay.
And because it was so easy to do, I just continued it for long enough for it to pick up steam. So again, when you are able to record in one day 30 videos and then in another day edit them in maybe a 4-hour gap, and then you've got all these videos that all you have to do is just press post, there's very little friction for what will keep you from doing it. Right. And so even if there's nothing great pulling you towards doing it, the friction is so little that you just are able to continue.
Right. Okay. Final question. I'll pass it back to these gentlemen here. For an entrepreneur, for younger folks that are looking to kick off businesses, they might have a website going, they might want to really be successful in that space. How important would you say does social media become in getting a business the success they need? Let's say they've established they've done the groundwork, but now they're not really getting the traction. How important does social media become at that point?
So I think that social media, essentially there are only so many ways to get traffic to your business, to your product, to your service. And social media, everyone says social media is free. Social media is not free, as we all know. It requires time, commitment, effort. Yep. There are trade-offs. Mm-hmm. And so if you're not paying with your money, like for paid media, you are paying with your time.
Time, exactly, yeah.
So having said that, it does have an amazing opportunity to go viral, to create loyal followings, to build a brand, to even give you a little bit of clout in terms of your industry, and really allow you to, number one, charge higher prices if that's what you want to do, give you more trust, more authority. And so outside of that alone, I think is an important component, because at this point, if you are a business and your social media is not on point, let's be real. Like, you guys have went to a business maybe you found on Google and you looked at their social media and they have 2 followers and the crappiest videos. And it's just, it doesn't look well. It doesn't bode well for the business. Yeah. It doesn't reflect well on it. And so I think there's an expectation in this day and age of a certain level of presence for social media.
Right.
So that's sort of part one. But part two, I think that number one, if you are a content creator and an entrepreneur, I think those two have to be separated into different buckets, kind of like what I said before, because as an entrepreneur, you're specifically looking at marketing. As a content creator, you really are, yes, you're thinking about marketing, business and all of that, but you're also thinking about personal fulfillment and passion and interest and all of that. However, for both, really, from what I've seen, it really is an amazing opportunity, even right now, even though, everyone many people are doing it, even though it seems like it's saturated, it still is an amazing opportunity to get a share of the market.
Right. No, I the one thing that I'm taking away from this, for everyone here and everyone listening, is if you're passionate enough about doing something, if you're passionate about spending the time, now we're here for episode 10, we've put in the time. And if we continue to put in the time, it'll resonate into obviously more success. So thank you for sharing that. I do appreciate
my pleasure,
that elaborate answer.
I just wanted to quickly ask you about your timeline as to when you started actually seeing because with the consistency and you're putting in the time, you're putting in the you got the content going. When did you start seeing people actually responding to it? People, and not only your audience, but also the platform, because the platform has their own algorithm, right?
Absolutely.
So you have to kind of meet their requirements as well.
Yeah.
Right. So, in the beginning, you were saying, that there are times when you make something and you think it's going to be a hit, but it's not. Right. So it's really hard to predict.
Yeah. So is this something that takes time to understand, or is this something that you just have to understand the algorithm behind it? Once you understand the algorithm behind it, you can kind of fast track the process.
So I do think that going into Dance with Mark after doing Man Signals gave me a lot of confidence. Okay. You had asked me earlier if there's a secret sauce, and I kind of jokingly said not really, because it is true to a certain degree. And I think that if people think that there's this one thing that you must do, that's a little bit inaccurate. However, there are best practices. So with Man Signals, I did learn through a big part of learning is seeing what your competitors are doing. Of course, that's number one thing. Because if you see that a video is gaining popularity, if it's doing well, something about that video is good. And especially if there are consistent videos that are doing well for a particular page, there's a reason for that. So whatever you can learn from it, already a good start. If you can mimic the template, for example, they use, if you look at how long the videos are, if you look at the text, and I think that's just a normal process whenever you get into anything new, you do have to look around at the field. Yeah. And with that, I did learn a lot in man signals. And so I would say that going into Dance with Mark, it was kind of funny. I felt pretty certain that if I just keep doing it, it will grow. Like I had zero hesitation. Yeah. And the next thing I do, I'm again very certain. I kind of know what needs to happen. I know what the videos need to be like. I know what the profiles have to look like. And all of those things matter a lot. So so there are certain things that you can do that I believe it might not be 100% batting rate, but it will give you excellent results when blended with consistency.
So just really quick, I mean, going back to how long did it take for you to kind of like hit that threshold where, you know, the tipping point? Because I know there's a tipping point for Instagram and what all these, you know, the algorithm has that built into it.
Yeah.
You got to keep creating content. You got to be creative. I understand all that.
Yeah.
But, you know, people like kind of, you know, they just like give up. It's like, oh, I'm only getting 200. I'm only getting 200. I got 20 videos. I'm only getting 200.
Yeah.
So, you know, that kind of like is a deterrent.
100%. Very good question.
So that's kind of like where I want to kind of get some information.
I think I've got a good answer for you. So, okay. So the short answer directly to your question is different platforms grow at different rates. And I would say that if you get lucky, if you do everything in a particular way, such as posting every day, creating your videos in a certain kind of template, using hooks, using attention baits, curiosity, all of that, certain best practices, it is possible that your video will hit. And by hit, I don't mean it's going to get to 100K. I mean it's going to get 1,000 views. Because when you are small, you're not aiming for the big hits yet. You should be aiming for 1,000 views, right? And then the next big hit, I think they call it viral for you. So for your size of page, what is viral? Okay. If you have, let's say, a following of 10 people and your video got 1,000 views, you just went viral. Like if you think about it, right? From you have 10 people following you, but your video got viewed 1,000 times. That's huge, incredible.
We just had a video that went 20K.
I know.
So that's kind of I
is the start.
I think we're in the right direction.
100%.
You know, and so I just want to kind of get your feedback on.
I actually wanted to mention this as well. When you first started your page, I noticed that you kind of simplified it over time, but you were trying to figure out the format and the layout and how you're going to do things. I remember you starting off the video, hey guys, today we're going to teach cha-cha-cha, and you were talking on the video. Yes. And then later on, you did your signature.
That's my new thing.
You didn't say anything.
Nothing.
You didn't say anything. And was that the point where you figured out, like, this is what I need to do? Did you get some crazy numbers by doing that, implementing that simplicity in the video? Or what made you go along with using that format going forward?
Good question. I don't want to drop your question at the same time, but I want to answer both. Okay. So
we got all day. We got Joe Rogan time today.
That's what I'm on. Okay, so whose question am I answering first? So are we continuing with
you can finish my question and then you can kind of...
So going back, so you had said you got a 20K view video. That is amazing.
And still going.
So that is the beginning. So usually what happens on a platform is one video will catch.
Okay.
And again, I have no idea how the algorithms work. You know, I don't work for these companies. And anyone who says that they know how the algorithm works, they're lying. True. Like no one knows really, outside of maybe like, ex-employees or something like that. But I think we all can have a pretty good guess. If you were the platform, how would you organize the algorithm to serve the best content to people? And how would you know that a new account is worthy of showing their videos?
Exactly.
Right? How do you know? You're an algorithm. You're not a human, even though I know they have humans reviewing things. And so the first thing is you have to gain trust and authority. So number one, how often are you posting? You're posting often. Great. That's check one. Number one, are people liking? Yes, great. Are people viewing, remaining, time viewed, all of that stuff? Great. And at a certain point, one of the videos is going to catch enough because of all of the components within the video, such as the hook, the retention, all of that, the call to action, and it's going to catch and it's just going to start spreading. And then maybe the next 5, 10, 20, 30, they'll go back down. And then
Yeah,
another
that's what's
one will
happening.
catch.
That's
100%.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
So, in answer to your question, yes, it's absolutely true. The first hit can take a very long time. So I think maybe my first hit so just actually dialing it back, it was interesting because the platforms, as I said, do not grow at the same time.
No, they don't. Yeah.
Just to be clear, I have almost 200K on Facebook, and Facebook was my first hit.
Okay.
Just through sheer luck, right? And that's why I like posting on all 4 platforms. But Instagram only got to 10K maybe like 3 months ago, right? So that means that if I only did Instagram, I would have thought I was failing this whole time. Sure. The only reason why I thought I was not failing was because I had Facebook, by luck, go viral. Yeah. Okay, great. And so I was building it up to like 10, 20, whatever. And again, what's interesting is 200K on Facebook, 900 on YouTube. If I was only doing YouTube, I would quit.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I'd be like, this is not working. But clearly the videos are good.
Exactly.
Because they are growing on other platforms. They are interesting, they are unique, they're valuable, all of that stuff. And so it just goes to show you that even when a video is good, it might take a very long time. So in this case, 6 months, like you said, longer though, no, since January. So 8 months, 9 months now. And I'm only at 900 followers. Mm-hmm. So that is something to keep track. And again, TikTok, again, very lagging. So I think number one, playing all platforms, very valuable. Then knowing that it will hit. Okay. Just the question is when.
Exactly, yeah.
But it is guaranteed almost if you just keep doing it. Yeah. Did that answer?
No, you did. I mean, that's something that Michael and I also talk about sometimes is like we look at different videos and Michael says, well, how come this one did only 200 and this one did 3,000? And I said, I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's not to sound like, that we don't know what we're doing, but no. It is so difficult to predict this.
Absolutely.
And that's why in the beginning, I asked you this. It's consistency and persistency.
Absolutely.
As well as content. Of course, you got to follow the best practices. And again, what you just mentioned 10 seconds ago was, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think the way they reward you is through your persistence, your patience. So either you pay, right? That's one way of doing
Absolutely.
it. Where I did try that. I tried that in one of our videos.
You did paid ads on it? You boosted it?
Just one, yeah.
Yeah.
And it doubled.
Yeah.
And we got about 20 new followers.
Sure.
I did it on one of the Flipper Forum podcasts.
Yeah.
So it does work.
Yeah.
It does work. So I guess it's a trade-off.
But also growth is also exponential. That's something you have to remember. So the hockey stick is real. So when you are a small account with under 10,000 followers, really, when people come to your page, that is working against you, right? Now, by no means do I say go get fake followers, because that's the worst idea you can do. Mm-hmm. But that just know that even if a video is amazing and people go to your page after and they see you've got under 10K followers, they might not follow because there's not enough social proof.
Yeah. I think this is an important question. You just mentioned not to buy fake followers. I completely agree with that. I'm all for it. Can you explain to our viewers why it's important not to buy your followers?
Yeah. I think everyone thinks about it in the beginning because
it's an easy way out. I mean, you want to grow your page, boom, you pay a couple $100 and boom, you got 10,000 followers.
Absolutely.
Why? Why shouldn't you do that?
So number one, I do believe that there's something about the ratio of engagement in terms of if you've got 10K followers but 5 likes on a post, something is off. And so if you were doing brand deals, for example, that would not reflect well on your brand. So they wouldn't want to work with you. So when I was doing man signals, that was a big consideration. I'm like, there's no point doing this thing if they're going to come and see and no one's going to engage. The other thing is that authenticity is important and you want people who genuinely want to watch your content, if only for the mental sanity and mental health benefits that it gives you, because you know that what you're doing is affecting other people's lives or contributing value to them. With fake followers, it is easy to think that it's going to boost it, but I don't think it's going to do that for you. Like in terms of, I don't think it's valuable enough. And what's interesting also, just as a side story, is one of the growth hacks that everyone always talks about for growing social media is follow for follow, or at least engagement. So you go to similar accounts or accounts that are following your competitors and you engage with them, you comment on their stuff, and you get followers. So for man signals, for the first maybe maybe 3 months, like nothing was growing. I had under 1,000 followers. And that's what I would do. Every day I would spend hours. I would go to fashion influencers. I would look at their followers, go either start chatting with them just to build a community, or look at their followers and all of that. And after probably 2 months of pretty time intensive work, I got my first 1,000 followers. But the trade-off was that every day I would have to go through my feed and like all of these pictures, to make sure that I'm engaged with my sort of community and support them and all of that. And that's great, but I don't have time for that.
True.
And that's when I realized, that's when I pretty much stopped doing that completely. Like obviously I still had like acquaintances and friends who we would like each other's content and collaborate. But I'm like, you know what? That's not what I want to do. I'm going to create content as best as I can that's going to create as much value as possible. And I'm just going to let people, if they want it, they follow it and nothing else. Like I'm not going to do this like chasing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How about with regards to getting monetized? On your previous page, you did collaborate with RW and Co. Is that okay?
Yeah.
How did that happen? How
So
did you get that deal done?
I can't remember how many followers I had at the time. It was probably over 10K. But I think that now a lot of companies in general are very bullish on collaborating with micro-influencers, not through paid necessarily content. So our collaboration with RW was more of a gifted content, which again, for me at that time, I'm like, heck yeah, give it to me. Yeah, more content for me to create. And actually half my closet now is still RW Co. Because even to the point where, like I've been doing squats, can't fit into the pants anymore, but I'm still keeping them in my thighs outgrew, but the closet stayed the same. But so they reached out to me, and originally it was something very small, and eventually I kind of like talked with the media representative for them, the ad manager, and we kind of worked on bigger and bigger campaigns essentially. So it was just building a relationship with her, and she was very, very nice, very supportive. They were actually very easy and great to work with. And then I had some other paid collaboration as well. I think once you have a following, and once you create consistent content, these people are going to find you, and they're going to reach out to you. Yeah.
I keep on hearing this word consistency and persistency. I think it's really that simple. You stick to it, eventually it has to work.
Yeah.
As long as you don't do the stupid stuff that they recommend you not to do.
Yeah.
Follow the given guidelines, eventually everything will work out.
So in less than 30 seconds, Mark, what advice would you give yourself? If this was you in 2020, what would you tell yourself?
I'm trying to think where I want to take it. So I'm assuming we'll keep it to social media content for now. But I think number one, honestly, okay, I'll go the tactical route, because the philosophical route is maybe that's that after show, I'm assuming. But the tactical thing is create consistently. Look at what's working for other creators. Learn as much as you can about copywriting, marketing, retaining attention, video creation, editing, all of that, because those are huge. And keep doing it for long enough, and it's going to happen.
Okay, fair. That's very well put.
Thank
you.
Just to follow up of that, for the future, what do you see? Like, what is your do you have any goals as far as objectives, as far as, like, I know this now is, you understand the process, you see it's working. Where do you want to go with this? What are your goals, objectives?
Yeah. So this is, again, one of those interesting things where all of my life I've been very goal oriented. I've been very, very careful in planning out what I want, really thinking about it, processing through it, having a vision for the kind of end outcome. In this particular case, I am doing none of that, or I was doing none of it, because again, it was something that I was not even sure I would be interested in. I was just doing it as kind of like something to do. However, now that it's grown and it is showing potential, and I am, more and more seeing other possibilities within the field, I think that I'm definitely going to still continue experiment. I want to answer, Michael, your question also about experimenting with the different openings and all of that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to continue experimenting with content because even I think that as a content creator, you are always exploring the intersection between what your audience wants and what they want to see and what you want to create. Exactly. And what is interesting and what's your meaning behind it and what's your why. And I think that intersection is a fine balance between those two things, but it can shift and it can move around. And so right now, even though things are going great, I cannot tell you that in a year it's going to be exactly the same thing. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll focus more on exclusively one dance. Maybe I'll focus more. Now actually one of the new things I'm trying is doing dance fitness because I noticed that was a big trend as well. So it's not just dance for learning how to dance. Okay. It's also dance workouts. So now I have these 1-minute mini workouts that are dance based.
Amazing.
Yeah. And so I don't know where that's going to go as well. So it's very difficult to predict. However, I do know that my goal always is to think about how do I combine the money aspect with the enjoyment aspect. Mm-hmm. And they have to go together because it is not sustainable to not have money coming in.
Exactly.
And it does weigh on you as well because you feel like, yes, it's great, but we do live in a reality where the need for finances is real. So with that said, I think that I'm really looking into ways of monetizing, course creation, merchandise, anything like that, partnerships, sponsorships, all of that, and just basically keep going in terms of growth. Just constantly keep trying new things, and then seeing what grows more.
So, have you had any business approach you so far as collaboration? Any other creators that want to collab with you as well?
Yeah,
like cross-marketing, I don't know.
Yeah. So far, no, interesting enough. And that's one of the reasons why I was so hesitant to get into the dance space because I felt like, I know that fashion has a market. I know that, personal development, tech, finances, all of these things, health, fitness, they're all very defined markets. Okay. And there are huge companies willing to spend a lot of money. Dance is a little bit of a niche still. However, I do have some ideas that are going to hopefully push it more into the mainstream, especially for modern generations. Okay. But right now, not yet. No one approached me. And that's pretty amazing considering the following that I have and the views that my videos are getting compared to what I had when I had the fashion one.
I see. I mean, I think what's going to happen, this is what I think is going to happen is you're going to understand a little bit more about how your demographics is, what demographics you have, and then you can kind of look at that and analyze and monetize that. Yeah, I think like you just spoke about fitness, and I did a quick analysis of your page, and you did have fitness in there. Yeah, right. Something like 7.6% or whatever. So I think you are hitting that market, and I think you can expand into that because again, that's a whole different market, right?
And that's a huge market. That's why I started doing the fitness workouts because one of the things I thought about was how do I tie my relatively small niche to a much bigger market and a need, and then how do I sort of
So I think that would be a strategy. I think you'd be looking into in the future.
Yeah, and I think also I think online courses and education, all of that. I think that's still good.
And the other thing is people love to share their story. If you are able to provide an experience to people, and then from out of that experience, they can say, hey, like this is good for my health in this, and this format. It's good for my heart. It's good for these following variables. It creates that excitement that I want to do it. I want my family to do it. And then tomorrow, before you know it, kids are doing it. It's almost like piano lessons, you can dance and piano like becomes a thing, and you're incorporating the fitness aspect into it, which basically targets a much bigger, I guess, audience. So I think it's a good route. Very, very interesting take on it.
And since I've known you, you've been really, big into fitness. So I think that knowledge and that background is going to help you with what you're doing right now, and kind of incorporate that into your videos.
I will say that one thing though that I now truly believe is that there is no predicting what will happen. And so even if you think you're going in a certain way, like you just don't know. You don't know what's going to come up. Yeah. And so that's why I think I'm just a little bit more open-minded to just possibilities. True. And again, that intersection between money and interest and passion, to me, very important.
But I think it's going to happen. It's going to happen eventually. it won't take that long, but I think it's definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, if you keep the passion up, keep that energy up, you're going to draw those opportunities towards you.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a big key as well.
And
one of the things actually recently that has really impacted me is, again, starting to read a lot of personal development and entrepreneurship books, because when you are feeling down,
exactly, yeah.
Like, I don't want to talk about, like, it's not law of attraction or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys talked about it on this podcast. I
Not yet.
don't know exactly. For example, Samir, how you feel about it.
I know we had some crazy debates about that.
Yeah. But I think what it is that when you're feeling down, your mind is just not creative. It's not capable enough of coming up with new ideas and even seeing opportunities around you.
True.
So the moment that I started really taking a little bit more care of mental health in that way, I just started noticing a lot more opportunities, a lot more things around me as possible.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Jeremy?
Yeah. Sorry, I'll just answer your question from before. So the wave. So this is one of those things where I saw someone else in my industry do it as well as a wave. So the first video that went viral did not have the wave. It was random. It was just like a text, how to. I don't think I spoke. The next video that went viral, again, semi-viral, I spoke. Mm-hmm. The next video was like, this is how you move your hips in the cha-cha-cha, full on speaking for 1 minute, also went viral. Mm-hmm. And so all of those 3 formats worked. But each one came at a cost to me in terms of time and editing and all of that. And so I thought right now, this seems to be an enjoyable format, very quick, very easy to create, which I like.
Okay.
And I'm kind of riding that wave. But it was not because I felt that was the best, most viral route. Even though it seemed like many possible hooks could work.
Yeah, I checked all the boxes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think I've seen other content creators, and they have some sort of signature move. Right?
Yeah.
Like I know there's this one guy who creates videos about iPhones and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen him, and he always goes, "Let's do this."
Love
right?
it. Yes.
Yeah.
Have you seen that guy?
That's a signature.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
what people
let's
remember
do this,
you by.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that kind of sticks, and I think that's really worked for him.
Well, it's definitely part of branding, right? Because
Yeah.
every time they see my face smiling and waving at the camera and bringing them in, at least they know what to expect. They kind of, and that's what branding is about, right?
Yeah.
So-
I think you had a similar approach with your previous page as
I
well
did.
with the fashions. Kind of you step in, you
Yeah.
go like this, and then you.
And it was exactly that, Michael. It was developed through trial and error, and it was found, not decided. So it was just through time. If you just keep trying to make it a little bit better and keep asking yourself, what could I have done to make this one a little bit better, next time a little bit better, it eventually puts you into a path of its own. And then you end up, this was not, again, decided upon. It was like, I'll try it. It worked, whatever, and so on.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so.
I mean, not to state the obvious, but how important is quality of your content versus the quantity that you put out?
So, I love it. What's our time check over there?
54 minutes.
Okay, my goal is to break this episode with so much knowledge and value for you guys that you keep me here for 2 hours. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm hungry.
You're always hungry, Mark.
I'm always. Actually, I've been modifying my diet a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Again, I know this is not a diet podcast.
Let's do a diet podcast after this.
Yeah, that's right. So. Yeah.
I can see you creating Eat with Mark.
Yeah. That might be my next page. That's actually very true.
Mark is one guy that I know loves food.
I love food.
He loves food.
But my approach now to food is totally different.
Really?
Yeah. Very interesting. Mentally, a big shift happened. And it was not a scary shift. It was a weird identity shift. So yeah, I'm gonna just leave that hook open loop. Just saying. What was the question?
Quality over
Yes.
quantity.
I'm a little bit torn about this because my approach, whether right or wrong, is posting every single day.
Okay.
So I think there are benefits to that, and then I think there are downsides to it. And I don't know yet. And unfortunately, I'm not tracking my numbers and statistics enough to really make good judgment calls. Because again, I'm kind of taking a hands-off approach. My focus is creating the best content, and then everything else, I'm just not worried about it as much right now.
Right.
So everyday content gives you a lot of at-bats, and that is amazing. Both pages that I grew, Man Signals and Dance with Mark, I believe that doing it every day led to the speed of growth. Because again, if you have a creator that over a year or over a month posts 4 videos, and I was posting 30 videos, I just have so many more opportunities for either going viral, for finding what works, for experimentation, for getting better at it, for practice.
Right.
But also it's a little bit, the trickle effect is real as well. So if I would have posted 4 videos and each one of them got 300 views, that's one thing. And maybe let's say one person would follow me from each of those videos, that's 4 followers. But even if I had the same 300 views on all 30 videos and only one person followed from each video, that's 30 followers, right? So the numbers really stack up in your favor when you are posting daily.
Okay. Fair.
Now, my concern about posting daily is the frequency and the retention of the audience, because again, I'm not a user of these platforms, which I think is a little bit of a downside, because I feel like I would know a little bit better of what people are looking for and usage habits. But I could see that, eventually, like, you kind of get tired of seeing my face every single day. I feel like it. But I do like also, and because of that, maybe creating spaced content at a certain point. I don't know that that's the beginning move, but maybe when you are a little bit bigger, maybe if I create one video on Friday, do not create anything for the week, and then create another video, or maybe halfway through the week, maybe that gives each one of those initial videos longer time to grow.
Right.
And longer time to accumulate numbers. And when we went on vacation recently for 2 weeks, I posted very frequently because I ran out of content a little bit earlier than what I predicted. So there were times where I didn't post for a week. And the next video I posted got, again, not an amazing amount of views, but it did get more views. So I'm kind of thinking about it, but I definitely think that in the beginning, that is not the approach to take, because you can't play with that. Now, in terms of quality or quantity, it's not an either or, it's both. Like, we all know and understand that. You are improving. I really love this story about, I don't remember where I even heard this, but it's basically quality is created through quantity. Because the more times you do something, even if you are completely stupid and ignorant and unaware, you're going to get better at that thing in one way, shape, or form with every time you do it. And so the more times you do it, the better you get. So with that alone, if you have especially a growth mindset and looking out to improve what you're doing instead of just repeating, I think that the quantity actually determines the quality in big ways.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you just said, as far as the beginning stages, I think your frequency needs to be more, because I think the algorithm is learning your pattern. It's trying to understand what you're trying to do, what you're trying to put out. And I've heard this where the frequency of your posts gets less and less as you get more and more followers.
Yeah.
And you can then create better content, which you have done a little bit more research on, is a little more focused, a little more targeted. But yeah, I think starting off, I think you need to do that at least 2 or 3 times a day, or at least twice a day, to get started.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think we can second that. We when we look at our frequency on a weekly basis versus what it
How often do you guys post?
What's the average?
Every other day.
Oh, I thought were you not saying 2 times a day?
Well, we have 2 different pages. So we have a Flip a Phone page, and then we have a Flip a Forum page. So with regards to this podcast, now you see podcast, the way we break down our content is the only content that we have is the podcast that we have.
Sure.
So we want to figure out a way on how to make this a little bit more unique and create some more content that I guess engages with our viewers on a deeper level, as opposed to just us constantly talking on the mic. But it's fairly simple. We just have a YouTube video and we just kind of break it all down. And we have tons of content for that week. Yeah. But as of right now, we are posting every other day on the Flip a Forum podcast, and then on the Flip a Phone side of things, we do post sometimes definitely every day, sometimes twice a day. I think we are lacking a proper system. I think we're still dabbling around. We're still experimenting and figuring out what works and what doesn't. It's obviously something you have to go through in the beginning stages until you actually figure out your signature and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, we are being consistent and persistent. That is the number one rule here, and cannot wait for this thing to blow up.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, no, it was quite refreshing for us to see that the way that video just took off.
What was the video?
It's about you put two iPhones together.
This is the clamshell one.
the clamshell. Yeah.
That
So-
was actually a very interesting video. It's very unique. I think that's also.
And not only that, the opening is perfect.
Yeah.
That opening
Yeah.
is so good. So I was browsing through your page anyway because I knew like this is what we're talking about. So I'm like, okay, maybe I can like take a look at some of their videos.
Nice.
That one, honestly, I could tell that. So I saw I was already picking up. I looked at it maybe like, when did you guys post it? Like
Like a week
while
ago?
A week
Yeah.
ago,
So I looked at it maybe 2 days ago. I think it only had still not that many, right? Is this?
Probably
at 20.
15.
Yeah, now
Over
it's
20 now.
Yeah. So I looked at it and you could see from the moment it opens, those two phones separate, the colors, the clarity, how sharp it is, the fact that it's just there. I mean, it was just, that was a perfect opening. It was so good.
And I think that's another thing that I've heard is if something works the first time, if it's working, you should focus on making it as good as or even better than what worked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So I think that what we did with that was it's kind of giving us some sort of framework or some sort of template.
Yeah.
Okay, this works.
Yeah.
Let's use this kind of opening or something similar, this kind of layout, this kind of wording.
Yeah.
One question I wanted to ask you was, as far as music is concerned,
Yeah.
right? I mean, your trending sounds, right?
Yeah.
On TikTok, I know that's big.
Yes.
And I think that does play a role in Instagram, but I'm not sure. But I know on TikTok it's a big thing. What's your experience with that?
So
Can I actually double down on that
Yeah.
question as well? Not only the music, but how much of a role do hashtags play in posting your content as well? So the music and the hashtag, how important is that?
got it. Good questions. Oh, good. I like it. I like it. I like it. You guys are asking all the right questions. I can see you guys are professionals by this podcast setup. So audio. This is what's interesting. So man signals, that was the strategy I used, right? Because I would find trending audio and I would use that trending audio and basically create videos on top of it. And that grew. So the theory would be that, yes, that's what you should do, right? Because it grew. But now Dance with Mark, I actually cannot use trending audios. So I use royalty-free music, which means it is not trending by definition because nobody heard it. It's actually really bad music. Like royalty, it's very difficult to find high-quality Latin or ballroom dance music that's royalty-free. But I use it because right now I'm monetized on Facebook, and to stay monetized for a video to be monetized on Facebook, it has to be music you own.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if it's not, you cannot monetize that video. So because of that, I had to switch my strategy. And I actually think that's harming me in a way, because if I had better music, that's a big part of the, especially for dance, obviously.
Yeah, true.
However, that goes to show you that doesn't matter. Right now, TikTok did not grow as quickly. So maybe if I would have used trending audios, it would have. Instagram also. But even with music that was not trending, I was able to grow it. So that's my answer to that. Again, I think that there are a lot of secondary things that you can focus on. And the answer, that would be my same answer as for TikTok. If you can, I would stack the deck in your favor and use everything, which means that I would use hashtags. I would use music. I would use, obviously, the video. I would use everything I can, the titles, the subtitles, literally everything that I can that would put me in a little bit of an advantage. I would use it. Is it necessary? Probably not. But is it good to use? Yes. So,
better,
yeah. And does anyone know for sure whether it works or how it works? No. So with hashtags, I use them. I max it out on Instagram. I do a few less on TikTok. I do a few less on Facebook, and I do none on YouTube. And interesting enough, maybe I should do some on YouTube. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, because that's the platform that's really lagging. I think I think that it can't hurt, unless I think there are some like maybe banned. There are some banned hashtags. Again, I don't think that anything that I do applies to it, and I don't know much about it. But I do think that it gives any context, additional context you can give to the platform about what your video is about. Especially my videos are non-verbal, so they can't create captions and actually read what I'm about. So anything I can do to give more context to my video will just, if nothing else, help direct it to the correct people. So if I put a hashtag salsa, before the mentality was it will show up on the salsa hashtag page, and if people follow it, great. But I think right now not many people follow hashtags. I don't think that's as big. But what it will do is probably someone who liked the video before, who had a salsa hashtag, is now going to get shown my video because it also has a salsa hashtag. So I don't think it's anything mind-blowing. I used to pay for a software for like Flick. I
did that too.
Yeah. And I just stopped because I don't know just how much it contributes. And based on what I'm seeing now, it's good to do, but I don't think.
But I think as you were saying, things change with time, and this stuff is changing, moving so fast. Like now, as I heard, like TikTok is more search engine kind of.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
And so what do you got to do? You have to put in keywords, right?
And I think that's
for them to
too.
find your. So you got to put in those keywords, you know, like salsa, dance, blah blah blah. But I think you have the SEO part of it, and then you also have a built-up audience that you have, you know, for over a period of time. So I think when you're established like you are, I think your strategy changes. I think there's some things that maybe don't affect you as much as compared to if you were just starting out.
And even now, I still use all of these things.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying do not use them. I'm saying that even now I would use them. Maybe if I have like 1 million followers, maybe I'll be less. You know, when you're in growth mode, you're doing everything you can to stack the deck in your favor.
Exactly.
So why not? Yeah, I would use all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Does anybody have any more questions for Mark
I
on
think
today's
we've
episode?
bombarded you with enough
Oh my
questions.
God, I'm ready. What time is it, actually?
Mark,
1 hour and 7 minutes.
What's your longest podcast? Hold on, I need to know. What's your longest episode so far? Actually,
I think we're gonna reach it today.
Our longest episode.
because I'm not leaving.
An hour and 50.
And 50? I don't have enough water for that, guys. Okay, fine.
And food.
Fine. Okay, yeah, and food. Fine.
Would
fine.
you want some more water?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Actually, I do have a question. One more question.
Get it.
Do you have the same format for all 4 platforms? Do you have like on here, I got to pay more attention to this. On here, I got to pay more attention to hashtags, more attention to, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. So
As far as your strategy is concerned, or do you just have one template you use across all 4 platforms?
So YouTube obviously doesn't allow as many hashtags. So the strategy it doesn't allow any copy as well. So, so I changed for that. So I just focus on the headline. But my headline, so actually my YouTube headline is different than all of my other headlines, just because that's the only piece of real estate I can use for marketing and for kind of creating
You're
interest.
very limited in terms of keywords.
So limited, yeah. And in terms of the hook, right? Because the headline does sometimes capture attention as well. Everywhere else, and I don't know, again, whether I'm doing this to my detriment, I'm using the same video clip. I'm not editing anything differently. I'm not editing anything also in-app, because at a certain point, you know, people really were saying that the platforms really like it when you use their native editor and they promote content that would use that.
True.
Well, no, guys, I'm not using any of it, right? I'm using a desktop editor. I have a file and I just upload that file everywhere. So, and so far it's growing to some degree at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, there's one thing I did notice when I used Buffer was, and this is for when I was scheduling content, it doesn't pick it up right away. It leaves it in there for some time at 0 views. And then it picks it up. And I was like, why is there a lag? Right. So I think it's doing that on purpose because they want to promote their own software, basically. I mean, it does work. And with Buffer now, you have that option where you don't have to do the upload on your phone separately, which was really good.
Yeah.
But I did find that there was a difference. When I uploaded it directly, it took it right away, and then it did the 200, the usual 200, 250.
Yeah.
But with this one, there were times when it just didn't even touch it.
Interesting.
And I had to go in and delete it and repost it.
Oh.
And then it picked it up. So I was kind of like, should I be using this software to schedule it?
Some of them are, I think, in partnership, like with Instagram, and I don't know what their status is right now, but I'm pretty sure some of these Buffer, I don't remember the other name as well. Hootsuite, yeah, I think they're actually in partnership, I guess, with, you know, or at least they're using their API. So I doubt that you are being, I guess, you know, penalized for using it. But at the same time, I would also imagine that a lot of spam accounts use that software.
Okay.
So maybe it triggers a red flag. I don't know.
I mean, it kind of looks like.
Maybe it has to go through extra review.
Yeah. It kind of stops it and just kind of like, why is it not? Because it's not putting it through the sample.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what the back end is, but that's potentially.
And as far as the four different platforms, I know TikTok is fairly new, but do you see a future with TikTok, or do you think Instagram is better? I mean, in your view, which is doing better for you, and which is growing faster for you? And
Facebook.
Facebook. Okay.
Something no one predicted, right? I didn't think Facebook at all. I thought it would be Instagram. I thought it would be TikTok, maybe YouTube, but Facebook was last on my list, and it's the one that's actually not only earning me ad money through ad revenue, but it's also
at the end
biggest
of
growth.
like Mark said earlier, you just start posting on all platforms, and then you can't predict algorithms. Whatever starts to go off, that's what you kind of go along with, right? So you can't really predict, what platform is going to work. For some people, shorts are doing very well. For some people, reels are doing very well. For some people, TikToks are doing very well. So again, it's one of those things that's very unpredictable. And the only piece of advice that I would take from you with regards to starting off is post everywhere and just see what happens and build on top of that.
Yeah.
Before we move on to the fun trivia that we do on every single episode, I'd like to finish off here and ask you: are there any other pieces of hidden gems or ideas that you would like to mention on this podcast? Something that we might have not talked about.
So I am curious about your social media. So how do you structure your videos? What do you do for engagement, hooks, all of that stuff? What's your mindset around that?
Well, we've been following a certain format, which it's very easily available on the internet, and you have the headline. You got to make sure that people can see it. You got to have a hook, where right away, especially if you don't have sound.
Yeah.
So if you don't have sound, then there has to be, you have to have the captions on it.
Yeah.
So what we have been currently focusing on is something that is useful, but easy to create and fast.
Yeah.
Which means videos that are like, how do you check your battery? How do you improve your camera? Like how do you optimize on, or you do a comparison of Samsung S, whatever, just phone comparisons.
Yeah.
So we've been kind of creating those videos, and we have been currently focusing on, for the lack of any other immediate ideas, this is something that is pretty generic, and I know it is going to work.
Just making mental notes for what I'm going to tell you.
It is. I think it is going to work, and we are kind of focused also on the business as well.
Yeah.
So we have two things going at the same time. So
I have just that, and it's a lot of time.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we do give that aspect of the business attention, but not take away from. So as you were saying, I want to continue to do it consistently. So that's one thing I have been really, really focusing on, is every day we got to put something out.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the best, and it's not going to be the worst, but it has some value.
And you're getting better each day.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. And eventually we're going to figure out something that works, and we're going to systemize it, and we're going to scale it, and we're going to outsource it to other people. So we can just scale on at a faster pace.
But what I have been using is the For You page, the strategy for the For You page.
Okay, which is what?
Which is basically following people so that the algorithm knows what you're all about.
What niche, yeah.
Yeah.
So I do have a couple of things that I definitely will share in the hacks or hidden gems with you, a couple of ideas.
All right.
Please.
Which I'm sure you probably are doing most of them, but I think just in general for people to kind of understand. One of the interesting things that I found was that the length of a video, especially when you don't have a lot of followers, is very important. And a trick I've been using sometimes, I don't do it anymore, but especially when I started out, is to create extremely short videos, like around 8 seconds, so that people will replay. But even going to the point where, let's say I built curiosity in the first 5 seconds, 6 seconds, and the only last bit of knowledge is dropped in that final second, so that they almost might miss it and have to rewatch it immediately.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that has worked. I don't love doing it from a value standpoint, because it's kind of like as a customer experience, not the best. That's one thing. I do think that using questions or your your caption when people first see the video is probably a huge make it or break it. So on a video, for example, about iPhone battery, driving curiosity. So I did a lot of research on headlines, and back in the day, there was a website called Upworthy. They kind of talked about their number one, like their headline strategies, all of that stuff. I think curiosity is the number one thing you can do with your headlines and hooks. And so thinking about what would be the one short, tiny line I could put that would make people go, oh, I want to know that.
Yeah.
So like how to make your battery increase by 10 times. Something, crazy.
Does it have to be clickbaity in some
Yes.
sense? Okay.
Yeah.
Because clickbaity is not bad.
Yeah.
Clickbaity just means you are letting them know what to expect
Yeah.
later on in the video as soon as possible. So if you start your video with, hi guys, blah, blah, blah. And then, if people only watch, imagine people can only see the first second of your video. Do you give them enough information in that second to make the decision that they will invest the next 5?
True.
Right? So I think that is the most powerful thing. And that is both done with imagery. So that's why I think the clamshell one works, because it just right away creates curiosity to iPhones, what's happening. But number 2, with what you're writing.
Yeah.
So tricks, hacks, secrets, all of those are great. iPhone battery secrets, iPhone battery hacks, big captions. So that's the first thing they see. And they're like, I'm interested in that. Or, just anything controversial, anything that would make them go, oh, like curious and open a loop in their head.
But what I've also noticed is that there are some videos that are so basic and they're getting 2 million views.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is this video getting 2 million views?
Well, how many followers do they have? Does that tie?
They have a lot of followers, but it doesn't equate to 2 million views.
Don't forget also, did you look at their engagement? Are these real views?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, that's also possible.
Because
Don't forget,
they always when you do a search for trending or
Yes.
whatever,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
show up most liked.
Yeah.
Most liked.
Yes.
Because that's what I do search for.
Yeah.
And they're showing up again and again and again.
Yeah.
And the content is not that amazing. It's very, very basic.
I'm interested
But
to see these.
they're reaching more people. And I think it could be the quality of the account, the age.
Yeah.
I think
all
that
those
could be
things.
luck also.
At the end of the day, I think algorithms can also play a role. They can actually be different as you scale
Yes.
larger. So the
They
more
treat you
followers you
differently.
get,
Yes.
the algorithm might favor your
Favor
videos,
you.
right?
Yeah.
So,
100%. Yeah. You've proven trust and authority.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think that plays a big role in it. Yes, creativity is important, but I think it's more important in the beginning stages.
100%.
You have to still provide value, but you don't have to be like what you're doing right now is you've established a system. It's working for you. Algorithm knows that you're consistent. It's pushing out your content, right?
True, but at the same time, number 1, not all my content goes viral even now. So that's important to remember. But number 2, the system I've established is based on that hook premise. Everything that I do is to capture attention. It's not random. I post exactly what the video is. I try and make it very appealing visually. I do the wave and pull in. I do camera zooms. So there's a lot that goes into even that little 2-second intro that captures, pulls them in, and makes them even want to watch 2 more seconds. I was going to say something else and I forgot.
So do you do the cuts like
Yeah, sometimes.
different angles? Yeah.
Yeah, for me, because I have one take, I don't do any cuts, but I do the zoom usually. So I've been
zoom,
experimenting, with different zooms, just again to capture attention as much as possible.
And also to retain their attention because otherwise it gets monotonous if they're looking at the same thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
And also another thing that people change backgrounds and stuff. Just it's
keep
all
it
about
fresh.
keep it fresh.
Yeah, retain their attention. But I think curiosity is probably one of the biggest things because honestly, if you see a video of like how to whatever make your iPhone 10 times faster or whatever, free up secret
space.
hack,
Yeah.
right? Like anything. Oh, I remember what my other thing is: looking for keywords through SEO keywords and then creating videos around that.
Okay.
And using a tool, I believe it's called Answer the Public. Of common,
Yes, I know that one.
Yeah, everything you use for like SEO, that's a good idea. Like if you were to see a video on YouTube that answers a question that's common, that's probably something that will do well on social media as well. If you can package it in a short and succinct enough way that really hooks people in.
That used to be free, but now they charge for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There are a lot of other ones, I think, as well.
But that was very popular. I remember it kind of shows you what people are searching for on the internet,
Yeah.
and kind of you can kind of like tailor your content around
Yeah.
those.
Even
that
Google
kind of-
autocomplete, YouTube autocomplete, they do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think those are good.
Fantastic. All right, guys, let's play a game of trivia. What do you guys say? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Mark, do you mind pulling out those whiteboards? Our best friends over here.
Yes.
I'm gonna use my iPad for this, guy. So,
We're old school.
yeah, that's for you.
Thank you.
That's for you, and that's for you.
And don't cheat from me.
I was gonna ask you the same
you guys
question. How are you
have
gonna
to
share?
share. You guys are gonna have to share the eraser, you two.
Here.
Okay.
Can have it.
Oh, you have one?
Oh, there's. Oh,
It's
in the
underneath.
back, yeah.
Never mind. Okay. How
Nervous,
this game
nervous.
works is Akshay is going to ask us a series of questions, and 7 questions today. We don't know what these questions are, but they are tech related or social media related.
Social media.
And I don't believe this is multiple choice format. This is just a question and then an answer. So how we're going to do this, he's going to ask the question, we're going to write down our answer on the board, and we're going to reveal it one at a time, okay? And we're
Yep.
going to be keeping scores here.
I like it.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Bring it on.
Who is the newest CEO of YouTube?
Who is the newest CEO of YouTube? Jeez, I don't...
YouTube.
This is supposed to be easy? This is easy?
You know YouTube, right?
Oh, did you know that? You knew it?
I knew it, yeah. It's Indian guy.
All right, man.
Okay, I'm just gonna. Okay, all right, fine. You didn't look at my answer, did you?
Here.
Okay. Ready.
All right. Well, it's either you know or you don't. I don't know what to tell you.
Vivek.
So yours is
I have no answer.
blank. 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 Okay.
Go ahead, Samir.
Is it Panchai?
Okay. Don't give a yes or no. We have to first reveal answers.
Okay. Okay.
I got Dan something. I
Okay.
have no idea. Who
Dan something?
Yeah.
Is Indian?
What you got?
So I'm
Dan
with
something.
I'm with Misha. It's definitely blank, but I figured I would use this time to just do some self
Hey.
promotion.
Dance with Mark.
Yeah, but I have no idea.
So the answer was Neil Mohan.
Okay.
Really?
Would have never guessed
Hopefully we
that.
get some.
Because Panchai is for Google.
Even if you asked me
No
like
idea.
anyone, I wouldn't
I
have
don't-
had the
yeah.
answer.
Okay, this one is a little bit easier.
Okay.
Oh, thanks.
Who is the most followed person on Instagram? And bonus point, how many approximate followers do they have?
What?
So for a bonus point,
Mm,
everyone knows who the most followed guy on
Okay,
Instagram
I know.
is.
Guy?
well,
Girl or guy.
okay. I'm gonna guess. I don't know.
Can we have 2 options?
There's no time limit. You guys can go,
On Instagram.
On Instagram, yeah. Who's the most followed person on Instagram?
I think I know this one.
Is it Dance with Mark, guys?
Bonus point, how many followers approximately do they have?
50K if I'm doing my everything right now.
Okay. Everybody got an answer?
Yeah.
Alright, who's going first?
I'll go first. I said Messi, 600 million.
Very
Oh,
close.
whoa,
Very close.
whoa,
Good answer. That was
whoa.
a great answer.
Ugh.
Samir.
Is it Taylor Swift?
Taylor Swift.
That was another good
Whoa.
Oh, I just went with Mr. Beast because I watch a lot of his
Oh,
YouTube content.
nice.
answer. Okay, good answer.
I went Ronaldo, but I've got no idea.
Oh, Mark was correct. With
What?
Yeah, baby.
600 million followers.
Ronaldo?
I chose 600
Messi was
million.
number 2.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
chose 600
really?
million for a bonus point.
You'll get the bonus
Wow.
point.
Okay, okay.
Oh,
okay. I'll take it.
tied.
I'll
That
take it.
is good.
What's wrong with Taylor Swift?
So
Yeah, what's
Michael
Taylor
gets
Swift?
the point for the followers.
She's hot.
And Mark gets the point for the Ronaldo.
Yes, I'm winning.
Yeah, I still
Matt,
do. I will still take
I
Taylor
could have
Swift.
swore Messi had the lead at one point. What's the
He's
difference?
number 2.
600 mil versus
400. 500 something.
Mel.
But he's like, there's like a 50 million.
Okay. At one point, Messi was the most
He was
followed.
at one point.
So I guess that changed. He must have done something.
This
Social media moves
He didn't
fast.
post. He didn't post every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 3 was Selena Gomez, and number 4 or 5 was Taylor Swift.
Okay. So
see,
at least we
see,
got
Taylor
number
Swift.
Number 2.
She was somewhere there. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Question number 3, folks.
Number 3. What year was TikTok founded?
Jesus Christ. Jesus. Serious questions. I don't know. I just use it.
What year was TikTok founded? I'm gonna
guess this one.
Oh, I'm guessing for sure.
Yeah, I'm guessing too.
I'm
You
100%.
guys don't know shit about social
I was gonna put 1999 or like pre-internet, but no.
All right, who's going first?
I'll go first this time.
Okay, sure.
So 2009. I don't even know. I have no context.
Okay.
Oh, I got 2011.
Okay.
2018.
18.
Oh, I got 2013.
Okay, it was 2016.
So I get a bonus, don't I? It's close to mine, no?
No.
I don't think that's how it works.
Damn, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I initially thought it would be 2018, 2017, 2019,
Yeah, I remember.
because that's when it started
Started getting
to
popular, yeah.
start to develop traction. But then I'm like, could it be one of those companies that yes, it got founded, but it took time for it to get to
That's what I
where
thought as well.
I had to take.
2009.
I mean, if it took you 10
Yeah,
years
yeah.
to get this far, I don't know.
I mean, yeah. When was Facebook founded?
Well, a good one is Amazon. Started off as
Right.
somewhere in the 90s, right?
Books,
Yeah,
yeah.
And then it turned into books, and then all of a sudden it
Yes.
became the biggest
Facebook was
e-commerce store in the world.
2004 or 5?
Yeah, like it was pretty
Early
it was a long
2000.
time ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, question
Next
number
question.
4. What does the social networking app Tumblr allow its users to do?
Can you repeat the question, please?
The social networking app Tumblr allow its users to do?
Yeah, I thought you were going to say
What
Bum.
does Tumblr do? What is Tumblr there for?
It's not Tinder, right?
Oh, Bumble.
Tinder. Not Bumble.
Not Bumble. This is not dating. No dating.
Okay, no dating. Okay.
Oh, man, I would have known that. Tumblr.
These are all social media related questions.
If I get this one right, I'm gonna give a shout out to my man Gary V.
I legit do not know, but I'm gonna guess. I don't use Tumblr, of course.
Yeah. Well, I'm just guessing too.
Okay, I got it. Whatever.
Okay, I would say Omar, you go first on this one, and then we'll go with follow.
Okay, as far as I'm probably wrong, but Tumblr is used to post pictures, news feed. It's an equivalent of Reddit.
Nice, that's good.
Okay.
I'm
What is
going next.
Sure.
Next, Mark.
So I put down like microblogging essentially, and I think the big function of it is the ability to repost other users' content. So I'm pretty sure it's partially right at least.
Yeah, for me, it's way off topic compared to you guys. But I thought about it as a place where you post questions and people either, say yes or no. It's kind of like a survey. So I decided to post it as a survey.
Nice.
Okay. What you got?
Dating. He put down dating, didn't he?
No. Videos.
Oh.
Took you so long to share that you had videos on there. Come on.
And the answer is
It was microblogging.
Yeah, baby.
What the?
Mark is on a roll.
Maybe I should be on Tumblr, guys.
Short form blog, microblogging type
Okay,
content.
fantastic.
Thank you, Gary V. This one's for you.
I said it was an equivalent of Reddit, where you
But that's.
share information.
It's like a forum, right? Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
Forum,
that's a
okay.
yeah.
Like the Flippa forum.
Flip a forum.
Okay.
Alright.
This is question number 5?
5. Yes.
Okay.
Now the last 3 questions get a little bit harder. All right.
Harder.
They were not hard enough.
A single
Alright.
point here.
What is the name of the popular live streaming platform that was launched in October of last year?
What the hell?
It's very popular. Live streaming platform.
Live streaming?
Yep. What was the popular live streaming platform that was launched in October last year?
Okay. So there's obviously one that I know of, but that's been
Before, yeah.
It's been, and I
It's
heard
a competitor with that.
yes, and I heard people talk about this.
Yes.
No clue.
And this is only live streaming.
Only live streaming. Yes.
Yeah,
Competitor with Twitch.
I heard. I wouldn't be able to tell you the name, but I definitely heard it.
I'm about to put OnlyFans on this.
I'm gonna take a guess here, and I know it's wrong, but it is what it is. Right?
What is that?
Who's going first?
Wait. What is that?
I can go first.
What is that word? I'm forgetting the word.
OnlyFans?
You got me all. My head is all crazy now because of that. That's cheating. You threw me off.
All right,
Mark?
what you got?
I got a big fat nothing. I have no idea. Sorry, guys.
Oh, can go.
I'll go next. I know this is incorrect, but I didn't want to have a big question mark on my
I'm the guest.
tablet here. I say Rumble.
That
I
is
know
the
Rumble
answer.
has been around for quite some time, but I thought that they might have
They do
introduced.
live streaming, but
Yeah,
it's not-
they might have just recently introduced live streaming. I don't know, but again, they do focus more than just live streaming. So that would be an incorrect answer.
I wanted to have an answer down, so I wrote down Twitch.
Nice. Okay.
I have
Better than
nothing.
me. Oh,
I have nothing.
Is that it?
man. Yeah.
What's the answer?
So the answer was Kick.
Kick. Okay.
Never heard of it.
You've never heard of Kick?
No.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's very popular nowadays, especially with the youth. Like I watch all my live stream stuff on Kick. I don't even watch Twitch anymore.
Akshay just called all of us
Live
old.
Streaming, what would I use
Especially
for
with the
dancing
youth.
for live streaming? How does that work?
I'm not too sure, but there's a lot of big streamers on there. All the big streamers are on Kick now. They moved from Twitch to Kick.
Really? Okay. I'm gonna
Interesting.
look into it.
Okay.
All right.
Next one.
Question number 6. Approximately how many active listeners does Spotify have per month?
Oh,
Approximately.
Per
Doesn't
month.
have to be the exact number, but an approximate.
Active listeners.
Active per month. Not premium, just listeners in general. Not premium subscription,
Jesus
just
Christ.
listeners.
Oh my God. I have no.
Ah.
It's not that much.
Huh? You don't think so? Well, you know what? You don't think so? Listeners.
Okay, I don't know.
Listeners,
Okay.
someone call me.
Okay.
You can wait.
All right, who's going first?
I'll go first. 800 million.
Nice.
What you got?
100 million.
Mark?
I got 150 million.
Oh, wow. 160.
I am way off.
Well,
let's
we
see
don't know.
who's
Let's
right
see,
here.
Yeah.
Should I give it to the person that got it the closest?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the answer was between 500 to 550 million active.
That means he gets it.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
So Michael gets it.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
Damn.
Wow. Yeah.
Damn.
Okay. Okay.
Getting a single one right.
Question.
I'm learning here, guys. This is good.
Final question. What is this? What is this question going to be?
Which social network for businesses and professionals was founded in 2002 by Reid Hoffman?
Yeah, baby.
He just leaves.
What are you doing? That one's easy.
I don't know the answers. I'm not gonna answer it.
Bro, this one's easy.
This one, that's the only one I know.
2002, bro. Do you know we were little kids in 2002?
You don't know?
Let's ask the question one more time.
Wow.
One more time.
Yeah.
Which social
Me and Samir, I
Yes.
feel old.
Yeah.
Which social network
Yeah.
for businesses and professionals was founded
There's only one.
in
Yeah, there's
2002
only
by
one.
Reid
There's
Hoffman?
only one,
Exactly.
baby.
How hard can that? Come on. Oh, well,
You
you know
the
this one.
last question was going to be
Yeah.
about Dance with Mark, actually. Okay, I'm a little bit disappointed.
Damn, bro.
Okay.
Which social media influencer has almost 50K on his Instagram?
Mark, you go first.
I got Dance with Mark. No, LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
LinkedIn.
I went with LinkedIn.
Yeah, baby.
I went with Lincoln Park. Nah,
So
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn
Okay.
was the correct answer.
Okay.
All got it right.
So,
Fantastic.
adding it up.
The tally, who was adding the score?
I think Mark won.
I think Mark
No, I
Mark
did.
was
Mark
first. You
definitely
got 3 correct. You had 2, and
Really?
we had just the one.
One,
so
yeah.
So you got,
Yeah.
wow, I did
Mark
not.
won.
yeah.
Guys.
Mark is the winner!
Okay.
Mark, was a,
Check is in the mail.
I'll come back.
Mark, it was a pleasure having you on this podcast. Can you let our viewers know where they can find you?
You go on your phone.
Okay.
You open any of the social media apps except
Okay.
the live streaming ones because I just found out about those. And you type in Dance with Mark, and I'll be doing this, and this with you.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much
Amazing.
for having me on, guys.
Thank
This
you,
was
Mark.
so
Thank
much
you.
fun.
It was great.
Blast. Loved everything. Amazing experience.
Thanks so much, man.
This
Thanks
is going
for
to the top.
Yeah,
To
really.
perform.
I really appreciate you, making time and coming out and doing something like this. So this means a lot to us. And for our viewers, if you guys are new to this channel, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit the like button. And if you have any questions to ask us, feel free to comment down below. And don't forget to check out our website, flipaphone.com. That's FLIPAFONE.com. We greatly appreciate you. We love you. And that's it, folks. Woo!
Yeah!